Hi there, I'm Chris Devine, and this is my review of the PRS SE Silver Sky. In March of 2018, PRS announced the Silver Sky, which was a collaboration with John Mayer, refining the S-type guitar on their own terms. And it was no surprise that the SE version would be on its way after that release. It brings the same vibe and feel at a very affordable price while maintaining the quality PRS has been known for. I want to make one thing very clear of this review. I will not be comparing the SE version to the core version in any way. After spending a month with this instrument, this instrument stands on its own, and I want the review to reflect as such. And I'm going to try to keep any comparisons to the core model or even other S-type guitars to a very bare minimum. So it's not going to be a shootout or a full comparison against other similar instruments. If you like this channel, please hit the subscribe button, and the bell icon will let you know when I put up a new video. And if you like this video, click the thumbs up button. And if you want to share it, well, there's also a button for that, which would be great. Now back to the guitar. Overall construction, fit, and finish is top-notch. There's excellent fretwork, and this came out of the gig bag with no need for adjustments. The body is poplar, and our test guitar, as you can see, has been finished in a very beautiful evergreen finish, which is a nice modern departure from the traditional colors that come usually with S-type guitars. It's a nice change. The maple neck has an 8.5-inch radius with a very nice C-shaped profile. This neck is extremely comfortable. I know a lot of players sometimes may think, oh, C-shaped neck profile, big deal. Everybody's got slow your roll. This is very comfortable. It's got enough girth to feel like you're really playing an instrument. You're not fighting it, but it feels like you've got something substantial in your hands when you're playing this guitar. So that's fantastic. The fingerboard is rosewood. It sports 22 frets along a 25.5-inch scale length, and it has PRS's small bird fret markers. The headstock is a mirror-like shape in comparison to the other PRS guitars, so it's kind of doing its own thing with this reverse profile, but it still stays within the family. The tuners are non-locking vintage style tuners, and they happen to have some really nice classy gray satin feel buttons, and they hold tune wonderfully. At the other end, where the neck meets the body, this area here is super ergonomic. It's a rounded heel area that is very simple and an effective refinement of the traditional bolt-on design. There's no problem with the heel getting in the way when you get into some upper fret access, and it is wonderful to play. It is, simply put, there's a lot of companies that have tried to come up with ways of making this area better, and they've completely re-engineered it and changed it around. Didn't need to be. PRS found out this is just a nice, simple way of making this work, and it's kind of hard to beat. It makes a lot of sense just from a design standpoint, and from a playing standpoint, the results are perfectly clear. It's fun to just be able to get up there, and you don't feel like you're fighting anything when you get up this far up in the neck. Electronics-wise, there are 3 635 JMS single coils, and all these pickups are voiced the same, meaning that where they sit under the strings defines the EQ response, meaning that this bridge pickup is wound and voiced the same as the neck pickup, and the middle pickup, the same thing. They're all voiced the same way, so there's not one pickup meant to be in a certain spot on this guitar. Now, these pickups are not super hot, but they do have plenty of volume. The neck pickup is really nice and warm and buttery, but you still have a lot of definition that comes in for chord work and for soloing on there. Bridge pickups on S-type guitars, sometimes they can be a little harsh, a little shrill. Thankfully here, there is plenty of cut and clarity with plenty of fullness. But the big surprise here, though, is the middle pickup. A lot of times middle pickups get overlooked in S-type guitars because it doesn't have enough sparkle or quack on positions 2 and 4 on a 5-way switch. And sometimes you put it in the middle on its own, it's kind of like, well, it's not really great. Not here. This pickup on its own shines with a perfect amount of clarity and fullness, especially with clean tones. This is really one of those points where all of a sudden, if you want to sound between the neck pickup and between the bridge pickup, yeah, it's right there. There's like some people, I can't tell you how many times I've played guitars and people go, yeah, the middle pickup, never really use it that much because it never sits right in the mix. It has either a lack of oomph or a lack of clarity, and usually sometimes the volume is usually never really what you want it to be anyway. So a lot of times people just skip over that and they go to like position 2 and position 4 to get a little more quack and sparkle out of it. So not here. This is a wonderful addition to your own tonal palette, and it's one to not be overlooked on this guitar. As I mentioned, it comes with a 5-way selector. Each position, pretty much as you go up and down the pickups, you're basically just changing the tone, not the character of the instrument. You start at the neck and you work your way up. The tone just gets brighter, but it maintains its presence and its focus. And that's kind of what you want to do. And there's no big jumps in between these two where all of a sudden you've made a pickup change. It kind of just gets a little bit, start at the neck. You want to get a little more cut, go to the second position. It comes in there. It's nice. You want a little more, go to the middle, and so forth. It really is kind of like, well, this is supposed to be how it works, but it always seemed like whenever you had the neck pickup on and then you'd go to like the position 2, there would be like some either unity gain or the tone changed enough where one pickup overpowered the other. Not here. It's fantastic. It just works its way up the EQ spectrum, and that's really kind of an amazing thing considering these types of guitars have been around for a long time, and this is the first time it really feels like, oh, this all makes sense. Now, control-wise, there is a master volume control, which is great, and there's a tone control as well for the neck and the middle pickups. And the bottom tone control is dedicated to the bridge pickup. Now, this is a setup players have been doing on their own for years. And to have it done right out of the box makes sense. This makes the bridge pickup quite responsive as well as being adaptable. And when you start rolling it off, it doesn't get dark or woolly or take away that clarity. It just brings in a little bit more low end, a little bit more warmth. It kind of takes off some of maybe some of the higher end frequencies, just like a regular tone knob would, but because that a lot of S-type guitars don't have a tone control for the bridge pickup, you never get a chance to really kind of explore that. And this is really wonderful. You roll it off, you can get some really nice thickness on the bridge position, and it's kind of cool to be able to do that on a single coil instrument. And it really is a very usable feature there. Now, PRS also didn't just raid the usual parts bin on hardware. The knobs are their own design, as well as the switch tip. These are borrowed from the USA model, while the output jack plate is also pulled from the core model Silver Sky design, and it looks like a more refined version of the traditional jack plate. And the bridge is a 2-point steel design with vintage style they're bent steel saddles. And the tremolo arm is a pop-in type with a plastic sleeve and a set screw that allows the player to set the swing of the arm to their playing style, and they can also have it as loose or as tight as they want it. Now, playing wise, as I mentioned, this is a pure joy. It is super comfortable to play. This isn't the type of instrument that's going to fight you at all. There's excellent feel and wonderful response up and down the neck. It just feels absolutely wonderful when you get your hands on it. You can really dig in, and it's one of those instruments that the more you dig into it, the more it gives back. It's not something that you're trying to, work around some sort of flaw, whether it's on feel or tone. It just is absolutely balanced right the way through, and that's kind of a hallmark of PRS's guitars since day one. So to have it in another PRS guitar, it makes sense, but if you've picked up an S-type guitar, that's not always the case. Now, we've run this guitar into a variety of real amps, plugins, and amp simulators, and the character of this guitar came through with no issues in every case. This is the perfect S-style. It's refined and redefined for modern players. S-type guitars kind of tend to transcend playing styles and musical genres. I mean, John Mayer's name is all over it, including on the back plate. But while his name is on the back plate, there's a lot of room for players to make their own musical statement with this guitar. And single coils, especially on S-type guitars, think of the variety of players out there that have played them, whether it's Dave Gilmour or Eric Clapton or Billy Corgan or Jeff Beck, Rory Gallagher, anybody that's ever played an S-type guitar, well, their personality in playing really comes through. Single coils can really be very expressive, and because of that, it feels like you could do a bunch of things with this that, and you're not limited. Sometimes, and with all the different tones available to you, it does that. It feels like it's what it's doing what it's supposed to do, and you're not fighting against that, and that's pretty awesome. Now, if you're trying to find an S-type guitar that's this well done, plays this fantastically, that's almost impossible, especially at this price point. PRS did not cut corners on this one, and with a street price of $850 at the time of this video, which is the early summer of 2022, the value of this guitar is absolutely amazing. This is something that if you are a player and you've said, yeah, I've played S-type guitars for years, yeah, no big, take a moment, get one of these in your hands. You may want to rethink that statement, because it really is an amazing way. Like when people say this was PRS's take on an S-type guitar, yeah, and PRS's take on stuff is usually really, really good. And that's exactly what this is. This isn't just like they slapped their headstock on it and just kind of threw parts at it. No, this has been just how they've sorted this all out is absolutely amazing. And it's kind of amazing considering that they start off with humbucking guitars and they're now completely redefining the single coil guitar world on that level as well. So before you even dismiss this, take a good look and get one of these in your hands. You will more than likely be blown away. I would be very surprised for somebody that gets one of these and isn't gobsmacked by it, especially with an SE version at this price range. It's kind of hard to beat. The pros and cons on this. Pros, I've talked about it. It's well made. It's modern. It is an excellent value to the player. The pickups are wonderful. There's really nothing to get in the way of the player just doing what they want to do, which is play guitar and make music. And this is a wonderful tool that you can do that with. Cons. The only con I'm going to say is that there will probably be, and this is where I get to that point of where I said I wasn't going to compare. There are going to be a lot of people comparing, well, what's the difference between the USA version and this version? How much of it is distilled out of the guitar? No. If you've played PRSs and you've seen the core models, they're wonderful. If you've played the SE models and had experience with those, which I have, they're excellent guitars. They're certainly not slouching. These are not second-rate or lower-tier instruments. They're just at a different price point. They're made overseas, which is how you get the savings on it, and their quality is still right at the pinnacle, and you're not missing out. And that's so. Realize that there are a lot of people that might try to compare it that way. Don't, because the SEs for the humbucking versions and the other versions that they have produced have always been well known to be excellent value instruments, and again, not slouching in any way. So again, this sits in that wonderful realm of that quality that PRS is known for, as I may mention. So get a chance, get one of these in your hands. You'll see what I'm talking about. For more information, go to prsguitars.com. And for more gear reviews, please check out performermag.com. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you soon. Take care.